Hey, this is Jason Overcome Redman. Thanks for tuning in to the Overcome and Conquer Show. If you love this show, we want you to do us a huge favor. Go to iTunes, subscribe, leave that 5-star review, leave a comment, and most importantly, share with your friends, because sharing is caring.
Everybody wants to be on top of the mountain. The problem nowadays is people want to get dropped off at the top of the hill and look down.
It's that I overcome mindset that makes all the difference.
See, the way we're taught is you're going to claw, you're going to scratch, you're going to bite, you're going to dig, you're going to do whatever it takes to get to the top of that mountain.
That unequivocally is how I have managed to keep myself moving forward and finding success.
2 SEALs, 1 mission. The Overcome and Conquer Show.
And welcome back to the Overcome and Conquer Show. Man, we have been on a run, Ray. We have had some amazing guests lately, and today is no different.
Yeah, no shit. Today is no different. We've got a tough motherfucker on board. I'm looking at him right now. I don't want to give. I notice
you're giving him the shifty eye. I'm a little uncomfortable.
It's rare.
Looking at Jack.
Yeah, it's rare that we have a guest that comes on here that literally, if he really wanted to, not that he would, but he would call you a pussy for what happened to you. But
it is true. There aren't a whole lot of people who can claim they've been through more than I have, and he has. He is a friend, and our paths actually crossed in the combat zone, well, indirectly. So we'll talk a little more about that later, but. As we allude to, he is another teammate, another SEAL.
3 SEAls, 1 mission.
Man. Nothing better than getting a bunch of team guys together in a small room.
That's right.
Yeah, tight quarters, tight butt. Oh, sorry.
Where's the keg?
Yeah. I know, really.
You know, but we do have to address the elephant in the room. Even though his beard looks magnificent, he's got no top hair. But it still works for him. You actually make that shit look good.
Hey, he had top hair back in the day. I've seen pictures, actually. He was that picture of you with the 60 and the sunset in the background.
Yeah,
you're a sexy beast.
Know what an M60 is.
Well, hey,
I was a 60 gunner. So, God bless. Yeah.
But back then, you had the flowing locks. You had the SEAL hair.
I did. I was the guy that was always told, "Hey, go get a haircut and bring all your buddies with you."
Yeah.
And you're the guy that didn't, and then now God's punishing you. Sorry.
Started in the middle there in bugs. Scab.
So funny. All right, well, listen, we are going to dive right into the show because there's going to be a lot of what we want to talk about with our guest. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is introduce our guest. So our guest served 21 years as United States Navy SEAL, retiring as a senior chief petty officer. He did a lot of amazing work, deployments both pre-9/11 and post-9/11, working throughout Iraq. They were cracking skulls, and I was there during that same time frame, and we were taking the fight to the enemy. And I'm not even going to get into what happened to him. On one fateful night that started at the beginning of our deployment, it was actually the turnover op. He had a mission that forever changed his life and literally set him on a whole new path and also set the standard for, I don't even know how any other way to say this, for badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
So we will discuss that in a little bit, but it ended his operational career. He went on to take care of Special Operations Wounded Warriors, working as a Special Operation Command Wounded Warrior Advocate, taking care of our guys, and finally moved on from that and is now getting out and speaking and spreading the word about leadership and resiliency, which is his word of the day. Yeah. And I tell you what, he lives it up. He speaks on behalf of the Navy SEAL Foundation, many other nonprofit organizations. He is a member of Eagle Rise Speakers Bureau, and he is a friend and absolute amazing guy. He also has a new book that'll be coming out. Doesn't have a title yet, but it will be coming out in the spring.
In the spring.
Bad Motherfucker is what it should be called.
Yeah, and he also is on a personal push, I think, from a lot of us wounded guys to be the best version of ourselves, especially after we've been all jacked up. So he's a health and wellness expert and moving on to find the highest levels himself. It is my honor to introduce the legendary Senior Chief Douglas Mike Day. What's up, brother?
God, you're making me blush.
Hey, I do that. Story of my life. So I make Ray blush all the time.
It's great to be here. humbly submit myself with all my faults for a case study. I'm definitely not a person that is going to wake up every day and try to provide advice.
I love it.
Hey man, we all got flaws. I know I got mine. The great thing about flaws is we learn the most from them, and I think that's what makes us better. Except for Ray. Ray's shaking his head. He has no flaws.
I didn't say a word. Oh, shit, I'm being recorded. Okay,
exactly. That head nod, and everyone's going to see that head nod on camera. It's so good.
Room full of two guys. You know the stories are going to tell.
Hide.
It could be edited.
So, but hey, let's jump in. The word of the day is resiliency. I cannot think of anyone who knows that word better than Mike Day. I sit humbly next to you. That's for sure. So
I had to look this up 3 times because every time I pulled the fucking word up, there was a picture of him and there was no definition. So, without further ado, resiliency, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. So, Mike, without further ado, what does resiliency mean to you?
Oh, resiliency is the ability to bounce back from a good kick in the nuts. And, it's a good thing to take those because you don't know when things are good if you don't have that.
Jesus, yeah.
We all have thresholds. Some people can deal with a lot more, physically and psychologically. Which I think are actually interchangeable. So if you physically push yourself, I think that actually transfers over into, psychological resiliency.
Yeah.
And I mean, no one's going to get out of this place without getting a couple kicks in the balls.
So the question is, your story is amazing, and we're going to talk about it. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, and again, I don't like calling another man a motherfucker, but with this you have to. This motherfucker has been through. I don't know anybody else that's been through what he hasn't survived. I mean, Jason a Baker's dozen. I get it. You've been shot a Baker's dozen times. Whatever, you big pussy. I had the shingles once. I had the shingles.
Me too. That hurt.
That fucking hurt.
It did hurt.
But I know
it's worse than a gunshot wound.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't know, but thank you. Thank you for making me sound somewhat like a bitch.
If it doesn't hit a bone.
Thank you. But let's get into the story. I mean, Jake, do it. You have to get into this because I'm the only guy in the room that pretty much.
All right, I'm going to give you guys the sentence
that it was a turnover op. We had some of your guys.
I want to tell people this sentence though, because this is an amazing sentence, or this amazing paragraph as part of your bio on the Eagle Rise Speakers website. It says, on what would be his final combat mission as a Navy SEAL, Mike was shot. Ready for this? 27 times at close range and absorbed a grenade blast. Despite being severely wounded, Mike managed to neutralize 4 enemy combatants, secure 2 prisoners, rescue 6 women and children, and evacuate himself to an awaiting helicopter. And in fine print it says, cured cancer, parted
the Red Sea.
But seriously, man, that is amazing, and it was our turnover op. Mike team had come in, and I'll admit I wasn't even in country yet. It was the very first op, so we had some of our guys on that mission, and Mike was out there leading his guys as he did, and they stepped into a shitstorm. So
that was the worst gunfight we got into the whole deployment.
I'm going to turn it over to you.
I felt bad for you guys.
Well, you guys stirred the hornet's nest for us because we went back. As a matter of fact, what's amazing is where you were wounded. I was only about 200 yards from the building that you were in.
It's amazing. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm,
that same place that we went back into. Every single time we went in there, we got into a firefight over the rest of our deployment. So.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good, very trafficable.
It definitely was not a place that you went into and thought, someday this is going to be a great vacation spot.
No, matter of fact, the first time we actioned this target, we got IED'd, and we couldn't get it. So we had to come back 3 nights later in a helicopter.
Yeah, well, that road that led into that area was like IED alley.
Terrible.
So talk about that night, because I guarantee there are people out there that I read that paragraph and they're like, wait, what?
27 times. We didn't say 2 + 7, 27 times.
And Mike, if you don't mind me saying this, Mike's story is amazing, and to go through that level of impact, and not only survive, but to do the things you did afterwards is absolutely incredible. Your story was actually represented in the movie Act of Valor.
Yeah.
So that scene is actually the individual that gets shot multiple times. That scene was actually created based on what happened to you. So walk everybody through what happened that night.
Accidentally got invited to that. You know, I was working at the Care Coalition. I was at Walter Reed, and those guys were there with Oakley, and they were having a premiere of that movie, and they invited me to it.
Nice.
And it was completely accidental. I think Dan Knassen was in the hospital at this point, and so I went to it. And after the movie, they asked me what I thought about their depiction of my scene. And I was like, "Well, you should have talked to me. I would have made it a lot better." Because it's definitely not accurate. You know, it's been depicted in a couple books, and I guess I'm in mind that it'll actually be accurate.
Hey, amen to that.
I mean, my citation's not even accurate, so.
Well,
And I actually think it was, most things in Hollywood are Hollywooded up to make it sexier. I think this is the one case in point where they actually Hollywooded it down.
Well, quite honestly, I actually questioned my recollection of it because it's so crazy.
Really?
well, let's get into it. Yeah, give us your recollection of that night, and really, I mean, Ray's right. I mean, you look in the dictionary under resiliency. I mean, it is an amazing story. So jump in, brother.
I guess I thank my father for being so resilient because the SEAL teams were pretty easy. And we'll get into that. It's also in the book, maybe. Well, it is definitely in the book. We'll get into it tonight. But for me, the SEAL teams were pretty easy. This was an event that, luckily, I wasn't. I mean, I consider the injuries you received way worse than what I got. I took 16 to the body and 11 to the body armor. I had 2 bones that got hit. Everything else was soft tissue, which is, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, through and throughs are. I will admit, I met some guys that had through and throughs, and I was a little jealous. So, and a through and through is a bullet that just passes
Brett Morgani,
through soft tissue.
Right through the leg, yeah.
Yep.
I have bullet holes that I have trouble finding because they look not much more, and it's an AK round that looks like a cigarette burn.
Jesus.
And it's hard to find. So the Oppo we were on, this was an Al Qaeda cell that was shooting down helicopters. They dumped 4 helicopters out of the sky, killed everybody. So that's why we're going after these guys. Initial attempt to go after them, we get IED'd on the way in. And a little irony there, the rear vehicle got hit, which is kind of weird for a rear vehicle to get hit because it had to be a pressure plate. Mm-hmm. And Clark Schwedler, who was killed later on, 3 days later on the same target set, his vehicle got hit. He was in the turret. So we weren't able to action the target that night. Came back, and we were like, we were just talking about it earlier, that place was just a mess. We're like, I'm not driving back in there.
Yeah.
I'm not driving back into that place.
It was a hornet's nest.
I mean, we literally, on that op, we spent probably 45 minutes trying to figure another way out, and it was just worse to go any other way than the way we came in. So we just had to drive really fast through where we just got IED'd. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
A couple other funny things happened there, but we don't talk about that. I had to coax somebody forward a little bit. So we came back 3 nights later, did a helo insert, a few kilometer patrol into the target. Breacher team goes up. They breach the door, and it's what we call a short room. There's no access to the rest of the house. And I'm the guy that's holding everybody back in case we have to blow something up. We call that the minimum safe distance guy. And when I heard short room, I was already on another point of entry, so I breached that door. I just kicked it opened up to a small foyer, and I stacked on one of the 2 doors in there that were pretty close together. One from our perspective, one on the left wall, and one on the far wall. Set up so that if you open one door, you could see from one corner of the room all the way through both corners of both rooms. So Clark was actually on the breach team, so it was kind of amazing that he made his way around everybody else to be the number one guy, go in that room. But he saw me. He saw me stacked on the door to the left, and he saw me waiting for somebody to pick up the other threat. And he was the one that did it. He was on the breach team, jumped around the train because the train didn't split in there. It was Iraqis. That's what we had trained them to do. Things happen different than what you expect most of the time. You just got to manage it.
Yeah.
So he gets in there. They see what they're supposed to do. Train splits. We do a simultaneous room entry. And as soon as I enter the room, there's 4 guys in there. 2 of them have AK-47s. 1 of them has an M4. And 1 of them has a pistol. The M4 and the pistol are weapons that they recovered from previous ambush on an Army unit. So that's why they had our weapon systems. They also had a helmet with night vision goggles, the dude's LBE with his name on it. I mean, they had all this guy's gear. It was later returned to that unit after I departed, after I was medevaced. So as soon as I entered that room, I don't know who opened up, but at least the automatic weapons did. The M4 and the 2 AKs. And I just started getting hit. You know, I entered that room off safe, finger in the trigger, and they still beat me.
Damn.
So I lost my rifle, which was, I had to ask somebody 4 months after this event where my rifle was, and they told me it was hanging around my neck. Later in this event, I had actually got up and walked around the house with this rifle banging between my knees and didn't even realize it. So I lost my rifle, and I transitioned to my pistol as I was falling forward, and I put, I don't know, 5 or 6 rounds in the guy down the left wall and landed right next to him. Landed on my left side, and we were up underneath the window. Hit the ground. I continued to shoot around the room. There was a dude that had pulled a pin on a grenade. He was trying to run out of the room into the onto the train out in the hallway. I shot him in the head. He dropped to his knees, and he was forward of me, but he blew up, and the grenade blast still knocked me out. But I don't know why it didn't knock the other 2 guys out, but it knocked me out. And when I woke, a whole bunch of stuff had happened behind me. My number 2 guy and my number 3 guy were Iraqis, scouts that we had trained. Number 2 guy got shot in the chest, knocked out of the room. The number 3 guy got killed in the doorway. He was just got dumped in the doorway and around from the room that I was in, passed through both doorways and hit Clark Schwedler in the back of the neck. And he fell into a seated position with his rucksack holding him up. I came and found him later. I still unconscious at this point. Guys tried to get in the room. They figured that there was 2 guys still with AKs shooting through both of the doorways. That it didn't make sense to go in there. They asked for status in the house. I was unconscious. Luckily, there was 3 Iraqi scouts, our guys, not on comms, deeper in the house. They didn't hear it, so they got stuck in the back of the house. They couldn't come through those doorways again, and I was left in the house. The whole patrol left the house. They were going to use an aircraft to blow up the target.
Okay.
That was the plan.
Mike, I hate to interrupt you, but I guarantee there's a whole lot of people out there that don't understand the reason why those guys would have done that, and been like, how the hell could they do that if they knew you were still alive?
Well, I mean, they didn't know I was still alive. They didn't have a full head count, and that's another thing that we've become a lot more sophisticated at, and we just don't drop bombs and shoot stuff unless we have a full head count. So that's why they weren't able to do it. The aircraft was completely prepped. They were trying to get a head count. They didn't know Clark was in the house. They didn't know I was in the house. We had 1 scout that was dead. That's the only one I think they probably knew. And then the 3 scouts that had gotten into the back of the house that couldn't get out. So I mean, we don't drop bombs unless you got a full head count. But I mean, that was the plan. But they came up with that plan, and as they were departing the target, I woke up. I still had the pistol in my hand. I woke up and saw 2 guys standing across the room with AK-47s. inside 10, 12 feet, and they were shooting over top of me through a window. Luckily only one of our guys got hit from that part of the engagement, but I re-engaged both of those guys. I do have some kind of unexplainables. I got shot twice in the butt, and I have 2 holes in my back that shatter my scapula that don't line up with holes in the body armor. So it appears that when I was unconscious from the grenade blast, someone came over, jammed the pistol in my body armor, cranked off a couple rounds, and then shot me in the ass.
Shot you in the ass just for shits and giggles. Fuck, I don't mean to laugh.
The funniest thing that happened to me last year is that bullet that I accidentally found through another procedure actually traveled over my hip, through all my organs, through my muscle tissue, and then landed up in my body, my beer gut, and I had some friends cut it out. So
I saw that video. Yeah,
this thing right here.
Yeah, baby.
I got shot in the butt with this thing.
So he's for those of you, if you'll have to watch the video, but he's showing the bullet he's wearing.
That video will come out sometime. It'll probably be a good YouTube one.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Hold on, time out. So you're just at a party? I mean, the drinks are flowing? I mean, because I know you like, I'm saying you said...
No, I was at work. I had some medic friends.
Okay, because the way you made it sound is like, 3 team guys are sitting at a fucking party, have a few drinks, and you're like, hey, bro, cut this fucking bullet out.
With a plastic dinner knife.
Yeah. I mean, your heart is fucking...
No, it does happen, man.
Dude, you were taking it... I was like, dude, I know this motherfucker's hard, but holy shit.
How many times have I seen a medic show up on the weekend because someone needs stitches?
Oh yeah, fucking. Yeah.
I've had SEAL Corpsmen put stitches in my kids.
Oh yeah. Penicillin, I've had it all. So that's a whole other. Yeah.
Navy doctor.
You don't want to go to the ER? Yeah, just call your 18 Delta.
6-pack of beer. John Cummings did that for me once. He was our medic.
It's good to have friends that know stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so you wake
up. So went off
on
that tangent. So I wake
up. It's all good.
We love it. Holy shit.
I just need to be redirected.
These assholes shot you in the ass. So you realize that.
The only place I didn't get shot was my head. Did get some grenade frag up there, but so I wake up and these 2 dudes with AKs are shooting over top of me from inside of 12 feet, 10 to 12 feet, over top of me, through the window. And I'm not going to lie, my first thought was, maybe I could play possum and wait till they're done and get out of here. And that lasted for a microsecond before I started shooting at them. And I don't know when they realized I was shooting at them, but I ran that magazine dry. And I did a magazine change, and they were shooting at me at some point in there. I can't tell you where it started, before or after magazine change. But I actually had a round hit the foot of the magazine. It blew the hand grips off of this pistol. I cleared the malfunction and killed those 2 dudes. I'm not going to say who manufactures that weapon because I'm looking for product placement for them.
I got it. Hey.
Yeah. I was going to say. I was getting ready to say something, but And I know you're listening out there.
Yeah, you better be listening because that's a 6-figure fucking sponsorship right there.
I don't know. They know who I am.
Yeah.
I've talked to them about it.
Get off the pot.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that and the body armor did some crazy stuff, man, that it wasn't supposed to. So 3M, the space is available.
Let's do it. I love it. Little promo plug there. Come on, sponsors, get you off your ass and let's do this. We were talking about that at SHOT Show, man. I was like, how the fuck can you not be, and I know who you're talking about, sponsored by these people? And
I'm trying.
Like, dude, guys.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, your time is coming. When this book comes out, and again, they're going to hear it here in your story. I mean, it's fucking legit.
So finish it. Yeah, because, it's not even quite done yet. So you
where was I again?
You're changing magazines while you're getting shot up.
Right before you operate on yourself. Keep going. It's amazing.
And cured cancer.
The fact that pistol took a round to the foot of the magazine and just the hand grip shattered. I could feel the springs through my gloves in that weapon. So I got that done, got rid of those 2 guys, and I got up on my hands and knees and I asked for status in the house. And one of the Iraqi scouts that got stuck in the back room came up, and it was luckily one of our first.
Hang on, Mike.
He was one of the first dudes. Remember, I told you earlier that we got 50 guys when we got over there to make like our little quasi soft and Ambar and Fallujah. And we got 50 guys to start off with, and we told them to do 10 push-ups, and 40 of them quit. So this guy that came in here, he was like, and his English was 10 times better than any of my Arabic or Farsi. But he came in and gave me a total Huts report that they call something else now.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive because I got to tell you, I worked with those. I worked with those guys, and most of them were horrible.
If you kept your thumb on them, and they trusted you, they did all right.
Some were good, but some were not.
Dude, he just pulled out a what's your slant too. God
so
I love it, dude.
Hey, well, that's another funny thing too. The irony of our, I don't want to say too much, but we changed things in the community because of what happened to me, and now I am teaching it. I am teaching what got me hurt, which is, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but who better to teach it than you? I think that's great. Yeah, wow.
I mean, all our hardest lessons are learned in blood. We changed the way we're doing things off mine too, and it just sucks, you know. But so
always comes full circle.
So 27 rounds. I mean, just kind of go over some of the injuries because it's incredible now. For the average person,
remembered where I left. That dude came in, gave me the slant, the Huts report. For you old guys.
But you started to say you got up and started moving around. I want people to understand the extent of your injuries.
I did. I got up. He told me what I had. You know, he told me that, that Clark was dead, that we had a dead Iraqi scout. He told me all the, we had 2 detainees in the back. I mean, he told me all this, and I told him, hey, watch that front door. Don't let anybody come through that front door. And I got up, and I found Clark, and had to quiet down the women and children. Because they were sitting like right next to him. They were in another room. If you read my citation, it says that they weren't in my room. They'd all be dead.
Yeah.
They were in that room. So got them quiet. I got deeper in the house. I found two other scouts. They had 2 detainees. I checked the flex cuffs. Brought one out to watch the women and children. Tried to make comms. Discovered that my radio was just destroyed. I had to take Clark's radio off of him. I reconnected my stuff and called the guys back up. Deconflicted the front door. They came back in. Re-cleared the whole house.
Tell everybody what your words were when you came across the radio, because I think that's...
across the radio?
Yeah, when you first called them.
Oh,
what I was told when I got there.
I told them that I gave them the slant. I said, don't come through the front door. The guy's going to kill you. I said, call me before you come to the front door. Because someone will shoot you in the face.
And then I heard you said, come get me. They're all dead.
I said, I remember saying, hurry up because I'm having trouble breathing. Out of all those injuries, the 2 when they came in and asked me what hurt, because I didn't really know what was wrong with me at this point.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing self-aid. My pelvis hurt really bad and I had a lot of trouble breathing. And they tried to treat for a sucking chest wound. Could never get the reclusive dressing on, but luckily it wasn't a sucking chest wound.
And just for people out there that don't understand what a sucking chest wound is, when a bullet goes through your lung, your lung actually is pressurized. When a bullet goes through it, it collapses. And then every breath you take starts to put pressure, more and more pressure. What's that?
You drown in your blood.
Yeah, that's what a sucking chest wound is, and it'll kill you quickly.
We got 2 lungs. So. I know dudes I had a buds instructor that only had 1 lung, and he used to run us in the dirt. You only need 1.
Yeah, you only need 1 lung. He's fine. Holy shit!
Suck it up, Mary.
Yeah, so the guys get back in, and then I hear. Hey, 2 mics to medevac, and somebody says pick Mike up, and I was like, no, you ain't touching me. They didn't realize I'd been up walking around. It wasn't because I was trying to play macho, it was because they had already been rolling me around and actually hurting me more.
That's actually why I got up too.
Yeah,
because it hurt when
like,
my team leader started dragging me.
I'll let you know if I need. I need you to pick me.
You're
up.
Making it worse. I just got shot 27 times.
I didn't know that. But, I walked out there with who I think is probably the best SEAL. We can't say his name. He's got still active duty that I've ever met. And I told him, if I need your help, I'll throw my hand over your shoulder. And it was a freshly plowed field. And I had to throw my hand over his shoulder to help me. And it was my thumb that was hanging on by a thread. He reached up and almost sneaked my thumb off. So we get to the helicopter, fly out, Chris J. He was one of your boys.
Yeah. He took a round too.
Yeah, he got shot in the arm
through the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I knew he was a medic, and I thought he was flying with me because he was a medic. I didn't even know he had been shot and he had a tourniquet on his arm because I was out of it. I was in shock. I can't believe I was cognizant enough to get up and walk around that house and do what I was supposed to do in the house. But that medical doctor on that bird cut all my clothes off, and when we landed, I was butt naked except for my boots, and I watched those two guys try to open that Israeli litter, and they couldn't do it because Chris had a tourniquet on. His arm was all jacked up, and golf cart pulled up, and I jumped off the helicopter naked and ran over to the golf cart. And
I don't mean to laugh.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
I'm just picturing this because, dude, you had to have been bloody from head to toe.
No, I remember not thinking it wasn't that much blood.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was. Well, Bob. He gets into all this scientific stuff. It's like he was like, maybe you didn't bleed that much because it was so close and it just carterized everything. I was like, I don't know.
Nah.
Was that a fart?
Absolutely. Team guys, you put them in one room and this one starts out.
I get excited, I fart. That was me. Usually I'm pissing in a bottle, but that's too disrespectful when you're talking. But I'm
So when your hands under the table, you're pissing in the bottle?
usually, yeah.
We have another episode where you hear it in the background. This is awesome.
The story's amazing. I couldn't hold it anymore. I'm sorry.
Where was I again?
They were bringing you in.
Oh yeah, they threw me in. So they had a
naked.
golf cart brings me over. They threw me on a gurney, and there was 2 times when I realized I was kind of jacked up. The first time was when the guys came back in, and I saw their eyes. You know how people look at you like they gave you that look.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're really fucked up. Yeah, I saw that in their eyes. I was like, hey, thanks a lot, guys. And then when I was on that gurney, and we came from the dark airfield into the light of the hospital, and there was like 7 or 8 people there. They just started rolling me around, and that literally started calling out all the gunshot wounds. And so from the ground up, I had one in my left thigh that went clean through my left thigh. That was a through and through. I had one that went through my scrotum, separated my vas deferens. That was a through and through.
Laughs.
Yeah. I mean, you guys need to understand. I mean, I'm just dumbfounded. That's the one. So the bullet went directly through his scrotum, passed in between his testicles, and you were okay. I mean, that's amazing. Although let's
not have underwear on.
And let's get into. So when you finally made it to Bethesda, because of the injury when a bullet goes through supersonic, it creates a
he caused as much trouble as I did.
I don't know about that, man. You were a legend when I got there. They were still talking about you when I arrived. There were nurses and everybody would come up to me and be like, "Do you know Mike Day?"
Don't be a pain in the ass.
So
like he was.
But so it made his balls swell up to the size of like cantaloupe.
It was a pretty good size.
Breathtaking.
And I showed them to everybody.
Everyone. Like, the nurses would come and be like, "Oh my God, Mike Day showed his balls to the Secretary of the Navy, showed it to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs."
Awesome.
I don't remember those ones.
So,
but I met Gary Sinise there, and I remember him walking in. And a lot of people say they ask you, like, "Oh, where'd you get shot?" And I think they're asking like a geographical location.
And you tell them.
They're like, "God, right here."
That's awesome.
Mike's always had an amazing. You're funny, man. You got that dry sense of humor, and your
I
stories-
grow on you like a fungus.
Yeah, but you know, you people love you or hate you, and I love you, man. You and I, we did years later, we did a climb of Mount Rainier. Several wounded warriors, another wounded SEAL, Mike and I, and a wounded corpsman. And we summited Mount Rainier together, and we were doing an interview when we were training. And Mike does his interview first, and then I'm getting ready to do mine. And they're like rolling the camera at this time.
And it was just a flyby for me.
Yeah, and Mike's like walking behind the reporters. The reporter asks, so how did you get on this climb? And Mike, without missing a beat, like goes, because he got shot in the fucking face. And the reporter like freezes. That's exactly what you said, man. Yeah, it is on video. Oh my God. But that reporter like froze. He did not know what to say. I mean, oh my God. I laughed so hard.
That's always been like, when I was at the Care Coalition, and I'm sure you had to deal with it too, one of the more bothersome things of guys that have like disfiguring injuries is people asking them, you know, well, what happened? And I remember this one Marsoc dude that I used to hang out with. He was, I'm tired of people asking me about my leg. He was gnarled up pretty bad. Got blown up pretty good. And I was like, well, just tell him something really heinous that makes him not want to talk to you. And he would tell him stuff like, I kicked this dog so hard that it broke my leg, and I had to have it. But you know, it fixed them for him.
I feel it. Dude.
I'd run with the giant balls things for as long as I could. Personally, I'd be like, I
was told by my better half that the swelling was going down. I needed to stop showing everybody they weren't as impressive anymore. So she got me to quit.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly you can get people stop asking questions if you tell them something super awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah. Like after I got
they're
karma,
already awkward. They already say dumb shit.
Yeah, people would ask me, why do you have a service dog? And I got tired of telling them. So finally I started saying, yeah, he helps me go to the bathroom. I had my urinary tract and my penis was shot off. So he squeezes my prostate to help me go to the bathroom with his
sticks
jaws.
his nose in my butt.
People would be like, oh my God. They would look at me and then they would look away. I could see them like thinking about it and then they'd like look down. It was so good. So
he's a prostate dog.
Yeah. Well, listen, you.
Yeah, every once in a while, I want to mess with the telemarketers too. That's fun.
Well, listen, you went on. You had, like me, several years of surgeries to kind of finish up, and you went on to help other wounded warriors. Well, I mean, you had some hard recovery, both from the physical and the invisible wounds of war. Yeah. So, I mean, what you went through was amazing, and now. You are starting to get out there more and more to tell this incredible story and to be able to share. I mean, you've got 21 years as a SEAL senior enlisted leader, combat leader, and you're out there sharing this message about resiliency. You know, what...
I mean, it was kind of a lesson I learned, too. I was doing a fundraiser, and I was sitting in the parking lot of, what was that, 99 FM? What was it, Tommy and Rumble? Not Rumble anymore. And I heard some dude talking about PTSD on the radio, and people were calling in, and people were calling in and saying, "Hey, you're kind of like making it all right for me to talk about it." You know, when I hear somebody else, so it is good to hear that somebody's gone through an experience that they're not ashamed about, that they have to talk, that they're okay to talk about. And quite honestly, I think one of the best gifts I got from being shot up so much, other than the decent benefits, you get some free college and stuff, but I just lost that train of thought.
Shot 27. Sounds like I got some free shit.
It's pretty good. I don't have to prove myself to anybody anymore.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't have to play that size everybody up and prove that I'm more masculine than anybody else.
Well, and I think it's...
And I have the ability to show vulnerabilities, which I'm going to in my book, and I think it's pretty important.
So let's talk about that, because I think you're going to help a lot of people. I mean, your word is resiliency, and everybody is hungry to be more resilient. And holy hell, we need more resiliency.
Yeah, we do.
My new book is about that also. I mean, we've got to build this resilient mindset, and you have the ability to do it on so many different levels, from the incredible physical wounds you overcame, the mental, the invisible wounds, and for you as a very high level SEAL to be able to get out there and tell other people, hey, it's okay, you can overcome this. So what is that message of your book? What led you to write the book, and where you talk about you wanted to set the record straight because some people didn't have it right.
Well, nobody actually has it right. You're the only one that actually asked me.
I wrote you and said, hey, man, I want to tell this story if you're okay with it.
And I was a terrible mess at that point.
Yeah.
So resiliency, I mean, we train to it. We only can be as resilient as we allow ourselves to be. And we can only be what we tell ourselves to be. And I don't want to put it in that sense. Like I said earlier, I humbly present myself with all my faults as an example so that you can take out of it what you want. I definitely cannot be the person that wakes up every day on a podcast or something like that to give advice. I don't think I'm of that caliber of a person. So just the example of my mistakes and of what I've experienced is just what I want to show. So you are what you train yourself to be. I was what I trained myself to be. My father was a very hard person. SEAL teams were very, very easy for me. This event where I got all shot up was more harmful to the people around me than it was to me. It did not bother me. I literally did not have PTSD from this. I've had PTSD from an event. Maybe later I'll talk about it. I'm just not ready to talk about that yet. But I did not have clinical PTSD. I got out of the SEAL teams and I was a wounded warrior advocate for 7 years. I believe I was a better social worker and wounded warrior advocate than I was a SEAL. And I was a naysayer on a lot of the healthcare that I saw people going through, and there was a lot of stuff that I saw come out early on that I was like, hey, it looks like a placebo to me, but dump all the sugar pills you can down that person's throat, because if it works, it works. It doesn't matter what it is. And then I had my own medical problems, and I've seen, I probably dealt with 350 to 400 people when I was at the Care Coalition for that 7 years. Everything from the more heinous combat injuries to, ALS and cancer, and it was definitely probably one of the more profound. It's definitely the more profound period of my life, that 7 years, than any other part of my life. Because of what I got to accidentally experience, what I got to accidentally discover. And, for me, I think from the layman's point of view, all health is going to be generated from the gut. And I will be having a benevolent organization where I will promote this and try to help teach. This is kind of coming out right now with a lot of doctors looking at gut health and how it affects brain health. To me, it's just so much common sense that I almost feel like we were just lulled out of believing what we were doing to ourselves. We just propagandized into believing that, everything you're doing is not that bad. But it causes all kinds of problems. And I saw a lot of psychological issues with people that I ran through med boards, and I believe that was probably caused, and they got a diagnosis that's going to stick with them forever. They're supposed to take the medications forever. And all I'm saying on this is, hey, give me 6 to 8 months. I'll fix your stomach. And maybe we can get rid of the trigger that caused that predisposition, of a genetic malfunction to happen. It's not going to hurt anything. All I want to do is put some probiotics and make you eat the right stuff. I actually went in and pocket myself, and it's a shame this should be healthcare. It's everything in healthcare right now is you go there when you're sick and the doctor tells you if you're sick or not, and you take this medication, and then you take a medication that has a symptom, tell the doctor you got the symptom, you take the next medication for the symptom. It's Well, why don't you just start from scratch? Get everything cleaned up, get the body working with all we are is batteries. We can't function without the proper chemicals, minerals, vitamins. There's a way to get to optimum human performance, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be an Olympic athlete. It just means optimum human performance for your set. But if your set is to sit around and tell yourself that that you're not good enough, and all you do is watch TV, and you eat bad food. I mean, we know the bad stuff we do for ourselves. Like I'm chewing. And you gotta have some personal responsibility. I mean, you don't get to a bad state. I didn't get to a bad state overnight. It took a period of time. My worst state in my life, to where I was pretty desperate and, we'll call it hopeless, was about a 2-year process till I was able to turn it around, and it was through gut health. I've been shot in the stomach. I had a colostomy bag. I had no good flora in my stomach. It was that simple. My treatment was to take probiotics and have a diet. And over a period of probably 4 to 6 months, it was a complete turnaround. I had to quit that job at the Care Coalition because it was just so overwhelming to wake up and work with so many people having their worst days of their lives. It was like the first 4 years, it was pretty good for me. Probably pretty healing, without me even recognizing it. Stomping out Mount Rainier. I mean, I was given my excuse in that job to take people to go do stuff that I wanted to do. So it was like,
Yeah.
man, I was taking dudes on like 500-mile bike rides. Took all these dudes from Team 2. There was like 8 of them that had Purple Hearts. Never been on bikes, and we went on a 500-mile bike ride with Ride to Recovery. You worked with those guys some.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different name now.
Bob Newman, was he one of the?
Bob Newman he works a lot with. Actually, USO owns that little bike club now.
Yeah, he was doing some stuff with them, but now Bob's running it. So.
But Ride to Recovery is now. It's another organization. They still do those challenges, like 5 to 7 challenges a year, like 500-mile bike rides.
But
They're awesome.
So what's amazing though, man, is this journey you've been on from a SEAL. And even from a hard childhood to a SEAL, and we didn't even really get into that. I would love to sit here and interview more, but we could be here for hours. But this journey to these egregious injuries, and just this, night, and then that path of recovery, both physically and mentally, to now where you are understanding so many things about the human condition, from mental health, from all the wounded warriors that you worked with and saw, from your own journey to nutrition. You're really big now on that, and especially in this day and age, so many people need to be more educated. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. I know I see it, that we have made it easy and normal just to eat as unhealthy as possible, because it's, for whatever reason, it's so much cheaper to eat crap
It is.
than it is to eat healthy food.
And it's a travesty, inner city kids, and I mean, it's not getting the nutrition at the earliest ages of development that are the most important. But I mean, healthcare should not be reactive.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's looking at in SOF, trying to do these tests where they look at your urine, your fecal matter, and your blood, to actually diagnose you and to individually prescribe a certain diet in a way to take care of it. My daughter was having issues that really looked like a thyroid issue, and it was a parasite, H. pylori, which is very common. And I wonder how many people in this country have been symptomatic of a thyroid issue, get treated for a thyroid issue, and all they had to do was stop eating sugar for 30 days.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you had to do.
So, well, listen, brother, I mean, yeah, we could be on here forever. You are out there now, you are speaking, You are telling your amazing story, you're teaching leadership and teamwork and resiliency. And your new book is going to come out in the spring, so people can really dig deep into that to learn more. So they can find you at eaglerisespeakers.com. You were represented by Eagle Rise Speakers, both. So, yeah, man, I'm like speechless. You know, I mean, you and I have, you know, our journeys were pretty close together. You know, mad respect.
A couple months
for you.
behind.
Yeah, watched you go through, you know, the hard times, and I'm glad to see you're on the other side, bro, and giving back to others.
Well, it's, for me, it's always constant improvement. There's always room for improvement, right?
Always.
Kill more of this ego, and I can prove more.
Yeah.
I don't have much, guys. I'm just listening. It's rare you get me without talking. I got nothing.
Yeah, you're leaking no gases.
Between the two of you, been shot like 50 fucking times, and I'm sitting here bitching about having the shingles. So I got nothing. I mean, I'm being serious.
I did
nothing
have
but respect.
shingles, and it was actually more painful than the gunshot wounds.
So you hear that?
To the body.
I've taken more pain than you, Redman.
The ones to the body armor, God, those were actually worse. I mean, 2 bones got hit in my left thumb, and right scapula got shattered. So,
I love the fact that you're just here and you're pushing. You know, listen, guys, you need to. Again, this is no plug for me. You need to hire this guy. You need to come listen to his story, because I'm telling you, you're sitting in the same room as him. It is humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I'm a beta here today.
Producer Ryan's nodding his head like,
Oh no, I'm
speechless.
yeah.
It is a speechless story, and I tell you what, if you're looking for resiliency, man, we all find it by finding those individuals. I mean, I'm blessed to have an amazing story. All of us go through hard times, but
you got to practice it, right?
Mike, your
you
story
practice
is
it just like anything else.
Is incredible. So listen, look him up, eaglerisespeakers.com, Mike Day. Find him. His books are going to be coming out in the spring. You need to go buy it. You need to pre-order it. We need to make it a bestseller. And there is a specific weapons company. You know who you are.
You know who you are. Stop being.
Yeah, stop being.
I'll see him this week.
Yeah. So
hopefully, it's someone there I can talk to.
We order you. I order you. Ray Cash Care orders you. Orders you.
Mike, I'm going to give you the final word. I'm going to let you wrap it up on what resiliency means to you. You've been through an incredible journey, man. And I'm sure your view of resiliency is much different now than it was. So closing the show, how would you tell others out there to be more resilient?
I think you have to have personal responsibility and being able to be objective about yourself and realize that if I had to be more resilient, that I actually had to put effort into it. And luckily, through I'd say my unfortunate series of events in my life, I was actually given a lot of chances and trials that I probably wouldn't have picked.
You wouldn't have picked getting shot.
But
can't believe nobody volunteers for that.
Kind of, my mantra is, everything always works out for me, just not the way I expect it to, and that takes a lot of patience. There's been times where come on, yeah, let's get through this part because you can't expect to get through life without having some kind of hard times, and hopefully it's not going to be that bad, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody go through something and people from the outside say, I can't believe that you're going through this. I don't think I could do it myself. Well, that person that's doing it probably said the same damn thing. And you got to do what you got to do, and you're only going to do what you tell yourself to do. And I've even quit. Quitting's not forever. I've quit for a period of time or gotten lazy, however you want to describe it. But get your 5 minutes of bitching done and do what you're gonna do.
Get back on it.
Yeah, or not. Or not.
Nah, we got to drive forward, man. You're driving forward now. We all have those moments where you're mentally weak, but it's never too late to get back on it, and that's what resiliency is about. So, all right, guys, man, it's an amazing show. once again, you want to find Mike Day, eaglerisespeakers.com. Are you on social media now?
You're on Instagram, but you don't do anything. I've written you like 20 times.
You do?
Yeah,
I don't have anything professional or anything going on right now.
Okay. Well, eaglerisespeakers.com is a way to find Mike, and he's going to be out there. Amazing guy. So, brother, thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
For coming on. So, all right, guys, this is the Overcome and Conquer show. I am Jason, Overcome Redman.
And I am Ray Cashcare.
And we are out.
Boom.
Thanks for listening to the Overcome and Conquer show. Tune in next time, and please remember to subscribe on iTunes. Please visit overcomeandconquer.com.
Hey, this is Ray Cashcare. Thanks for listening to the Overcome and Conquer show. If you love the show, we want you to do us a huge favor. Go to iTunes, subscribe, leave a 5-star message, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Boom!